And here we go. So welcome to everyone to our Empathy Cafe. This is our cafe on the COVID-19 and designing mutual support resources to talk about what our needs are around that, our experiences. And we want to go around quickly, just have everyone introduce themselves, just your name and your location. And if you're part of XR, if there's any XR groups you're part of. And see, we just need someone. Carolina, do you want to just choose, select people? I'll just model it. Edwin Rutch from the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm in XR San Francisco in the XR Empathy Circle work group.
Okay, my name is Carol. You can call me Carol. I'm based in Poland, Central Europe. I am a member of XR local group and also global support and empathy circle team. And next on my screen is Sophia.
Yeah, my name is Sophia. I'm from Sweden, Malmö, and I'm not a member of XR, but I've been participating in these circles quite a lot.
Okay, thank you. Marta, would you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Marta, from Portugal originally, but based in Cork in Ireland, part of guardianship here and also with the empathy cycles.
Thank you. Julie.
Hi, I'm Julie. This is my first ever empathy circle. I've been watching Edwin's videos for a while, and I just wanted to participate to talk about the topic today.
You are not a member of XR?
No.
Okay, thank you. Rambling Mohawk. You are muted. Wait a second. I unmute you. Okay.
Okay. My name is Andrew Brandt. You can just call me Andrew. I'm from Tyendinaga Mohawk Territory in southern Ontario, Canada. Yeah, I'm not a member of XR, but Kevin's been working with XR Kingston for a while, I guess. And, or no, not Kingston. I know he's been working with XR. He can probably correct me on that, but he's been doing the talking for me, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Jorn?
Hi, my name is Jörn from Germany. I'm with XR, not so much on my local group here in Freiburg, but more on a national level in region and self-organizing systems. And that's also, I built a company like around those principles. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. Richard, would you introduce yourself? Richard.
Richard, originally from the Netherlands, now kind of working in Berlin and Leipzig. My background is NVC, from the NVC network, and I combine theater with NVC, and also experimenting with online groups at the moment.
Okay, thank you. Andrea, would you?
Yes, Andrea from Nuremberg in Germany. And I've been associated with XR over the last year, but I have very loose contact now. Well, nearly lost contact to my local group.
Okay, thank you. Eva. I'm not sure if I pronounced properly.
Yeah, you did. It's Aoife. Hi,
Eva.
everybody. Yeah, I'm part of XR, the group in Dublin in Ireland, and I guess I'm also kind of involved in a few circles. Regenerative culture is one of them. So yeah, nice to meet everybody.
Thank you. Alison. Alison, do you hear us?
Yes, hello everybody. My name's Allison. I'm participating from Southwest Washington State in the USA, and I'm not an XR member. I do, however, spend a lot of time around cooperative communication. I'm familiar with NVC and various similar tools, and I'm really happy to be here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm not sure how to pronounce this name, Didri O'Leary.
Hi, I'm Deirdre. Um, I'm in Sora, Ireland. I'm living in Kerry. I'm part of the, this is my first empathy circle, although I've been watching a lot of them, and I'm part of SOS and guardianship in XR here.
Thank you. James.
I'll pass, thanks.
You don't introduce yourself?
Is it all right if I pass?
Well, it would be nice to introduce yourself to the rest of us, but if you wish. Sinead.
Hi, I'm Sinead. I'm in Ireland with the Regenerative Culture Circle. Myself and Aoife are the coordinators, and yeah, I have a good 10 years experience in NBC as well, and I love empathy.
Thank you. Isla or Isla, I'm not sure.
Hi, it's Isla.
Isla.
Hi everyone, I'm Isla. There's such an amazing international group. I am in London, I'm from London. I have left though. And I have been a part of my local group in London and also XR Theatrics, which is a London group. I'm no longer part of either of those. And this is my first empathy circle.
Thank you. Elena. You have to unmute yourself. I will help you. Oh, okay, you can speak. We don't hear you, Elena. Something happened. Okay, maybe next is Bill, then we come back to Elena.
Hi, I'm Bill. I'm with the Empathy 10 team and been doing a lot of the empathy cafes, and I'm also taking the XR facilitation training.
Okay. Kevin, are you there?
Can't see anyone, but if you can hear me, I'm Kevin. I'm a member of XR Guelph, and my interest is in international support and in growing interactions with Canada's Indigenous community and XR. And I'm happy to have Andrew join us today from Tyendinaga, and it'll be his first call. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Elena, do you hear us? Can you introduce yourself? Elena, we don't hear you. I will go further. Oh, try, Elena. Do you hear us, Elena?
Now I do. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, okay. I got the microphone working. Hi, everyone. My name is Elina. I'm from Helsinki, Finland, and I'm a part of XR Helsinki, both in the regenerative working group as well as like the self-organizing systems. And it's really cool to be here again. Bless
Thank
you.
Thanks. Next on my screen is Gia Kick.
Yeah, hello. It's from Stuttgart, Gia. Yeah. And yeah, good evening. Yeah, I'm since quite a long time, let's say, a member more of any movement who is against extinction. So I work for myself as well as in groups, as locally in XR I was for a while, but then I had unfortunately very unpleasant situations, and confrontations with two people only, but I don't have time for this. Also now I'm totally overstressed with things which are going on, this COVID, how to estimate what is behind this, how the extinction rebellion could develop and so on, and how the world moves. So I'm extremely overstressed now. So, but I hope. Yeah, so I don't make the camera on now because it seems like it's really I did sleep maybe 3 hours today, and I'm writing quite a lot. So that's it. Yeah, Kevin did invite me from Canada, and I'm interested what's going on in this coffee. Yeah.
Thank you. Ben Man.
Hi there. Yeah, my name is Ben. I'm from Sheffield in the UK, and I am a member of the local XR group.
Thank you. And Sarah A.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. So I'm in the Bay Area in California. I'm with the Green Party. I'm one of the Alameda County councilors. I have worked with many environmental nonprofits last 3 years. So I am with East Bay Neighborhoods for Responsible Technology, have worked with FACS, Families Advocating for Chemical and Toxic Safety, and I've been working with different school districts to try to have environmental health safety. I'm so excited to be here and very interested in what everyone has to share.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And last on my screen is Leona.
Hi everyone. I'm sorry I don't have my camera on. I've been waking early, I think, as part of this whole COVID-19. I'm based in Australia. So I am still in my pajamas and have not yet even plunged my first coffee. So bear with me. As I look more alive, I may turn my camera on. Thank you.
Thank you, Leona. Okay, I just may suggest that if you're not talking, mute yourself. It helps others to participate without any background noise. And if you have problem with bandwidth, you may turn off your video. It might help. Back to you, Edwin.
Okay, and I'll mention that I'm just putting into the chat window. There's a link to a Google Doc where you can add your name and any contact info, and also take notes during the call. And just checking if we need an extra facilitator. Richard, would you be able to facilitate? Okay, just great, because we might just have larger groups of 5 and 6. So let's see. So okay, then next we want to go into the demonstration of how to take part in an empathy circle. This is from an online video, and I'm just going to share it. Kind of gives a short version of it, so that because I think not everyone is familiar with the process. And so this is how to take part in an empathy circle. And while this is running, I'll be dividing people into groups.
Hey, Edwin, I think the volume isn't on the video.
No, it's not working.
Thank you. That's sorry about that. There's a little trick here. You have to, when you share it, you have to let's see, do the share, and you gotta do it with computer sound. So thanks for mentioning that. Let's see, share with computer sound. There we go. Alrighty. And I'm hearing some background noise. If you can mute your, okay, had it all. It'll take a second to get this working right. So next, let's look at the step-by-step how to take part. An empathy circle starts with 2 to 7 participants. Here on the screen, we have 4 participants, which I find is an ideal number. There are 4 basic roles, and the roles rotate among the participants as the empathy circle unfolds. 1, the speaker, is the first person to speak. 2 is active listener who actively listens to the speaker. There's the silent listeners, they quietly observe and witness. And the facilitator who organizes, schedules, and hosts the circle. They also do the timekeeping, and they have some experience with the process and help keep participants in the process. However, everyone has the responsibility to hold the process and the practice. So to begin with, the facilitator will start the empathy circle. They welcome the participants. They lead introductions if the participants don't know each other. The facilitator invites participants to give short introductions, for example, their name, where they're from, and something personal about themselves. The facilitator then reviews the empathy circle process to remind everyone how it works. They announce the discussion topic if there is one. Even if there is a topic, you can always talk about what is alive for you. That is what is on your mind in the moment. And 5, they set the speaker time limits, perhaps 5 minutes, for example. And the facilitator then asks who would like to start to be the first speaker. So at that point, the participant volunteers to be the first speaker. As speaker, you select who will be your active listener, and you can select anyone that you want. You speak about the topic given or whatever is alive for you, and so you'll speak a bit until you have maybe expressed an idea or two, and then you want to pause to give the active listener a chance to recap what they understand that you are saying and feeling. If you say too much, the listener may have difficulty in reflecting it. As the active listener, you are listening to the speaker to get an understanding of what they are saying and what is important to them. You are giving them your full attention as a supportive companion on their inner journey and exploration. When the speaker pauses, you recap your understanding of what they said and how they feel by reflecting the essence of that in your own words. You can summarize, paraphrase, or even say the speaker's words back to them. Even though you may have a strong impulse to respond with your own ideas, judgments, analysis, advice, and sympathy, or even questions, resist the impulse to do so because these common responses block the speaker from moving along their internal journey. You will be able to say whatever you want when it is your turn to be the speaker. Just do your best. If you don't reflect the understanding to the speaker's satisfaction, you can always they can always say it again. Then, as speaker, you check: do you feel understood to your satisfaction? If you do not feel understood, you can say it again, perhaps in different words. If you do feel understood, continue sharing. Again, after speaking a bit, pause to give your active listener a chance to recap their understanding of what you said. As the active listener, you again share your understanding of what the speaker said and meant. The cycle of speaking and reflecting continues until you, as the speaker, do not have anything else you'd like to say, or until you get a signal from the timekeeper. If you get a signal from the timekeeper, then finish up what you're saying in a sentence or two. After you get a final reflection, you can end your turn by saying something like, I feel fully heard, or something like that to indicate you are done with your speaking turn. At that point, the roles then rotate. The active listener becomes the speaker. The person they select becomes the new active listener. For everyone having equal time, it is good to select someone that hasn't spoken lately, but it is your choice. The others in the circle become the silent listeners. This process of taking turns in speaking and active listening continues for whatever time is allotted for the empathy circle. For fostering deeper dialogues, I find 2 hours is a good amount of time. And this was just a very short introduction. The best way to learn the practice is just by taking part and doing it. There is more in-depth material on taking part in an empathy circle and facilitating one at empathycircle.com. I look forward to seeing you in the circle, and thank you for listening. Okay, that was a little bit of an intro. Hopefully that'll orientate you on how to take part in the process. Oops, gotta close that window. So we're gonna have 4 groups. I'll be facilitating the first one, Bill number 2, James, that's your top there, that's Carolina. And then 4 is Martha with Ophi. Should we hope? Is that right? You're together? Aoife. Is it, how do you spell, is Aoife O-A-O?
A-O-I-F-E.
Okay, great. So I got you in the same room, I want to be sure. So we're ready to go into the room. So there'll be about 5 people in the room. We'll take about 5-minute turns for the timekeeping, but it's up to the facilitator. So here we go. And we'll be going till about the quarter. We go, let's see, about 1 hour and 20 minutes. And then we'll be all coming back into this room. And the topic is, just what kind of, about your experience with the COVID, the pandemic, like your feelings about it, just what sort of support are you needing? What kind of support would you like to offer? Just anything that comes up around that. It's really open to whatever is sort of on your mind. So let's go into those rooms and see you there. They should be seeing the breakout rooms forming. Join one. And let me assign to, there we go. Okay. So I gotta do a little bit of organizing here. 66.
I'm getting a message that this room will be ended in 42 seconds.
Huh, doesn't, somehow must have hit the wrong button. Sorry about that, 1 second. See, let's return, is it? Let's return to the main. I'll have to redo these rooms, sorry.
Oh, there he is.
What happened?
Yeah, welcome back.
Hey.
Sorry about that. There's something kind of got mixed up here, but
Time warp.
Yeah, it's
Let
weird.
everyone come back first, maybe, because it will create more mess.
It seems like it's not quite working. Okay.
Where are my peeps? I don't see my peeps. Oh, no. I don't.
It's it's really weird. It's like it's saying all breakout rooms will close in 15 seconds. And I didn't push anything. So I just wonder if Zoom is, kind of overwhelmed or something.
Yeah.
So let's just wait, and hopefully, I bet a lot of people are on Zoom. Okay, so we're gonna try this again.
Good.
And hopefully this is not gonna throw us, we're gonna try this again. Hopefully it's not gonna throw us all back into the room. So, okay, here we go. You've been invited to join a room, breakout room. Okay, 1 second. Since we're 7, move to breakout room 2. Okay, so there we go. Okay, yay. Trying to juggle all the technology as well as facilitation is a little bit much. So gonna have to divide that up more. So whoever would like to start, if someone do timekeeping? Does anyone have a watch there? Like the timekeep 5 minutes and
I can do that.
thanks. So in 5 minutes, you can just, if you have a piece of paper, you could, just hold that up or hold the clock up.
Hold the phone. Yeah.
Hold phone up. So if someone would like to start, you can speak to me and I'll just sort of model the listening. Just, what's up for you around the, the COVID pandemic, what's going on for you?
I'm unmuting myself just for a second, not intending to be the first speaker, but just to explain that I've got my kids home because schools are closed. And so if you see me talking to someone off the screen, it's because I'm just trying to help them with the activities they're engaged in.
Okay, well, you sort of volunteered to be the first speaker. So what I'm hearing is that you're at home and your kids are at home. And if you kind of turn off the audio and speaking to someone, it's because you're speaking to your kids.
Correct.
Is there more?
Sure, they're not settled in an activity at the moment, so I may get interrupted again, but I could go ahead and try to speak to you, Edwin, and the rest of you who are listening.
Okay, so they're not settled in some kind of an activity, so you're going to give it a try to speak to us.
Why? No, Epic is not even screen time.
Because you need to find something else to do, read a book or something. So I'm feeling distracted at the moment. I'm also feeling really grateful for this call because with shelter at home policies, it's easy to get isolated. And although I've been reaching out to people on social media and through text and email, it's really nice to be able to speak and see people's faces.
Yeah, so you're really appreciating the call that you're able to connect with people. You have been reaching out at other places, but it's nice to connect with and see people and their faces.
So other feelings that I'm having about the coronavirus epidemic are varied. I'm having quite a few feelings, but I'll try to just give you one or two at a time. I'm not feeling fear for myself or my immediate family. I do fully expect at some point in the next year that I will get sick. However, none of us are at high risk. So while we may feel miserable for a short period of time, I think we will get over it and recover. That's my hope, my hopeful feeling.
So feeling some hope that you expect that you will get within the next year, the virus. And since you're not in the high risk category, you have hope that everything will be okay after that.
Yes. My next feeling is a little less positive, though. I'm, as I mentioned in the introductions, located in the United States, and I feel frustrated. My view is that our national leadership has not responded consistently and coherently to the crisis, and it's leaving local areas to respond in sort of a patchwork fashion. And I'm frustrated. I think we could be doing a lot better, and we could have better data if we had rolled out widespread testing sooner. And that lack of data is leaving us without the information we need to respond well.
So real frustration around the national leadership in terms of addressing what's happening, and that especially that there wasn't an early adoption of testing, and we could have been a lot better if we've had that kind of effective leadership and had been doing testing earlier.
Yes, yeah, for sure. I'm also feeling concerned for the people who are at high risk for this virus. I do have friends and loved ones who are in that category, either because of their age or because of their, immune compromised condition. And I'm sad and concerned for them and want to do everything I can to protect them.
Mm-hmm. So you're really feeling some sadness and concern about people in high risk categories, and really want to do everything you can to protect them.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I'll just end with one other feeling, returning to kind of one of my more positive feelings, which this call actually reflects. Friends all over the world are in a very similar situation. I've been communicating with a friend in France. I've been communicating with a friend in South Korea. I have a friend who lives near me, but who is from Finland, and she's in communication with her family members there. And there is something really special. Even though we're in a difficult and a painful time, there's something unique about the sense of solidarity that I'm hearing from people in many countries all around the world. And I think that's an opportunity to increase our empathy and our understanding, and to share an experience that in some ways brings us together.
So you're just hearing from people all over the world that you've been in connection with. There is this quality of empathy and solidarity, and like gives you hope, and really glad that that's there.
Yeah. Thank you for hearing me, Edwin.
Okay, thank you. Andre, can I speak to you? You're muted.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm just taking the time at the same time, so I was confused.
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel feeling a little anxiety in terms of, it's a larger group, and there's a lot of buttons to push. So I'm feeling a little anxiety about sort of the management of all this. So just wanted to kind of share that.
Mm-hmm. So I hear you sharing your anxiety around needing to facilitate a little bit of a bigger group.
Yeah.
Knowing that more triggers can come up, or more buttons can be pushed.
Yeah, and well, buttons in terms of technical buttons, not
Okay.
personal buttons.
Okay, thank you for correcting me. I thought we were talking about other buttons. Right.
I'm talking about technical, if you hit the wrong button, everything kind of blows up on Zoom here. So,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So you were talking about the technical aspect. Yeah,
Yeah.
getting it.
Yeah, exactly. And, it's in terms of having, that we need, when we set all this up, we need to divide into groups. We need a facilitator in each one. So it takes a lot of sort of juggling to, get people into the right groups. So that's sort of a lot of the, and I'm also noticing just sharing that, it was kind of like, here was this anxiety, just sharing it with you has kind of created a spaciousness, and it's kind of, it's sort of dissolved that anxiety just by being able to share it with you and be heard.
Mm-hmm. So you're noticing that sharing about the anxiety that the technical glitches brought up for you, and also acknowledging that it's a difficult task to do, is creating more space and more breathing space maybe for you.
Some more calmness and feeling a centeredness. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the benefits of having these dialogues is, people are anxious when we connect with each other, at least from my experience. I calm down through that connection. So it's important to have spaces like this.
So you're also saying that spaces where we can connect to each other and get listened to raise the social connection, and just it's possible to calm our nervous systems that way. That's what I hear you say.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel fully heard.
Okay, you have another 2.5 minutes to go.
That's
But
okay. I'm wanting to spread
okay.
the tension around a little bit here to start
Right.
with.
Okay. Okay. Now I have a problem because I don't know how to. Okay.
I can do
Jordan will
timekeeping
do it.
whilst you're speaking.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good. I'll pick up again, but that would be good. Can I speak to you, Elena? Would that be?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not sure. I was very hesitant about joining the call because I was in a not so good state, and it would not be my default to go to a group when I feel that way.
Okay, so you were hesitating actually to be here tonight because you you weren't feeling like that's your normal response to the way you were feeling to come to a group.
Yeah, I would rather isolate myself, just step back and not reach out.
So
And
your normal reaction would be rather be isolating yourself than to a group.
And so I think this whole situation, which has been like kind of accelerating over the last weeks, for me, it holds very different feelings. One is nearly one of relief, which is maybe sounds quite strange, but yeah, but that's one is relief. I'll stop there.
Okay, so when you look at the different feelings that this situation where we're in creates in you, you can notice that you're experiencing one of them is actually relief.
Yeah, because I feel I have been feeling so strongly also, and that was why I engaged with XR, that we're at a turning point, and but it doesn't come into consciousness. It doesn't, it's not evident. And even though many people don't even connect, the two, those situations, maybe for me, it's like, okay, something is becoming visible. We're entering that, wherever it goes, but there's an acceleration, and as was mentioned before, there's already a sense of we're in this together in some way, even though we don't know what it is. So I think that's what the relief is about having something that was so strongly felt inside of me. It's kind of more explicit.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that you're experiencing relief, maybe because there seems to be some kind of clarity to the situation, that you've had this intuitive knowledge inside you that we're in a turning point, and now it's kind of more explicit. And so that's creating the relief maybe in you. And you also mentioned the fact that somebody else was also already talking about the positive aspects to the situation, and you're seeing them too.
And at the same time, I just find that it brings up, it accelerates nearly like an upsurging of very deep very buried emotions in me, and a lot of stuff to deal with, and that I can be very hard on myself when these things come up. So yeah, I think that's what I'm actually dealing with, and in that I just feel like I should be doing more, to help this turning, to be in that, and it kind of. And I can get really hard on myself around that. Yeah. So that's the
Okay.
two-sided thing.
Okay. So, like, in addition to the relief and the kind of clarity that there is this, like, emotional turmoil also coming up, and you, what I'm hearing is that you can be really critical towards yourself as well, demanding from yourself more action, maybe, or something that you would do to help this turning.
Yeah, thank you. I feel heard. Thank you.
Thank you.
You just muted yourself. There you go.
I did. I wanted to see everybody's names. So can I, Jörn, can I ask you to listen to me?
Sure.
Okay. So hi everyone. First of all, so I'm here in Helsinki, and well, I'm not actually in Helsinki right now. I'm like 60-kilometer drive at a cabin. Because I'm part of the like risk groups that have like in the higher risk category, and I've like self-isolated here with my kids, and it's like almost 9 o'clock in the evening, and you can see the window behind me, and that's how dark it is here, and it's really strange. Life is really strange right now.
So what I'm hearing is that you're feeling a vulnerability with regards to the virus, and you want to limit exposure and have isolated yourself with the kids in a cabin outside Helsinki, and you're having some strange feelings and impressions around that and the situation.
Yeah, I think like because I've been in the environmental movement for such a long time, I've kind of like grown used to the idea that it's possible that we have some kind of a crisis, and that it's possible that it's really fast and will like really surprise us. So I think like in that sense, these changes in our everyday life really haven't like surprised me, or I'm not confused in that sense, but I am a little bit concerned of getting sick, because I think it will have like it would make my kids worry, so I'm concerned about that.
So what I'm hearing is, on the one hand side, that you kind of feel prepared for crisis, because that's been what you've been dealing with and working with all the time. And on the same side, now that it's happening, you're surprised, and I'm also hearing a lot of care for your kids and what that would mean for your kids if you got sick.
That's right. And then on a personal level, I'm kind of worried also, because my partner is a British national, and he's in the UK at the moment, and the borders are closed. And there, like in the politics today, there has been this talk about the borders in the UK being closed for the next 4 months. So that's a really long time not to see him, and that makes me a little bit heartbroken tonight.
Yeah, so there's this other aspect where your life is already severely impacted by the situation, as your partner is in the UK, and it's absolutely uncertain as on how and when and you can see him again and be with him, which makes you heartbroken.
Yeah. But then, like in XR here in Finland, we've like already created really nice solidarity networks and stuff like that. Like we've created this rebel support, which is like a network of people who are feeling healthy and feeling good and feeling like they have the resources or the willingness to support others, and so they go shopping and the pharmacy or walk the dog of the people who are infected or in quarantine or just self-isolating. And like we've like very fast moved into having these video meetings, and we had a really lovely sharing circle via like a video meeting thing just last night. So like there are definitely like awesome aspects to this situation as well.
So you're seeing also positive aspects of the crisis, like people supporting each other, and also a fast adaptation of behavior and getting together in video. And I heard that that really felt supportive to you as well.
Yeah, thank you. I feel fully heard.
Sarah, you there?
Hi, yes, I'm there. Hi.
Hi. So I'd like to speak to you and ask, do you have image of us or?
I do have an image of you. I just kind of just got out of bed and I look really bad. So
Okay, I just wanted to check because I would like to pause a moment and get in connection with my body before speaking, and I didn't want you to be irritated by me just not saying anything if you can't see me.
You're so fine. No, you're fine.
You want to just reflect what you heard him say, Sarah, just now?
Oh, sorry, my phone's ringing. He wants to take a pause just to ground and reflect, so we can come from a place of being more centered.
Yeah, and I'm noticing something that I've noticed in the past couple of days, that there's so many ideas and thoughts and concepts in my head that it's really difficult to get in touch with my senses, because all this information and thinking and processing is kind of overwhelming, and I'm falling back into old patterns, how I've lived my life for 45 years, and the new patterns aren't so available anymore in the crisis.
So I'm really hearing that you're feeling overwhelmed with all this new information and what's currently happening, and you're wanting to integrate the new patterns that you've learned.
Yeah, I would say I'm realizing that I haven't integrated them as fully as I was hoping for. So with this shock coming at me, my system is responding in old patterns, and yeah, but I feel really well heard when you say I want to integrate, because I don't want to like postpone integration and go into crisis mode. I'm here to integrate those new options I have and choices for behaving differently, and yeah.
So I'm hearing when you share wanting and hoping to integrate the new options, I am wondering if you're speaking about, although you didn't say these words, coming not just from maybe some fear and overwhelm, but coming from like a higher wisdom place, or maybe some more love.
Yeah, I really appreciate you putting that into like how you hear it and not just paraphrasing. And I can I've got goosebumps all over my arms. So my body processes what I'm hearing for you much faster and on a deeper level than my brain, and I'm really appreciating that.
Thank you. That means so much. Yes, I'm definitely hearing that you're right now integrating so many things, that it's a process, and that it's like when you share this, when I hear that you say you have goosebumps, and I am hearing you are connecting to your senses and your body.
Yeah, and listening to you, like, only with half my mind. My mind is already jumping ahead, and the one thought that came up is I really want to celebrate something, and then like guilt kicks in immediately, and that's this other side. But what's going on? But I really want to put that out because it's so strong in me also. As last year, we have all been saying by 2020 something needs to change, and we kind of all agreed it's not gonna happen. Fuck, look around, it is happening. So yeah, it's difficult for me to speak that out because there's like, oh, how are you gonna react to that? There's some guilt kicking in right away and some shame. There you go.
I heard so many things. I heard part of you sharing the need for celebration. When I hear celebration, I think celebration of goodness and life and moving forward. At the same time, acknowledging the parts that are acknowledging the state of emergency. And also, you shared about knowing for a while that 2020 was going to be a big shakeup. That when you share that, you're sharing that this was foreseen and known that something needed to change.
Thanks very much. I'd like to pass on.
Thank you.
So you can select who you like to speak to, Sarah.
Oh, okay. Goodness. I didn't know how this worked. Let me see. Oh gosh. But I think do I pick a new person or
Anyone you would like to. That's your choice.
Alina. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Alina. So how does this work? Do I start sharing?
Yeah.
5 minutes to say whatever you'd like.
Thank you. So I'm not feeling so prepared. I did a couple of grocery runs and got just some stuff, but not used to this. This situation came at me from left field. I do feel heartbroken because my dad died January and my mom lives 3,000 miles away. And then I was feeling I might never see her or my brother again. I was kind of going to that place because I'm on the other side of the country. I also has been bringing up a lot of core feelings of, because the last 3 years, the environmental nonprofits that I've been working with have been yelling at public officials for not taking health concerns seriously or environmental concerns seriously. And it's been falling on deaf ears. And basically, it's been falling, not just that, but like prior to this happening, I'm supposed to get out a press release and it was not done because it wasn't taken as a priority. And I just saw an email from a colleague talking about environmental concerns, lowering immunity for people dealing with coronavirus. So there's so many things I can't even say.
Yeah. Is it okay if I interrupt you now, because I really want to hear you? Yeah. So first of all, I think I heard you say that you're really surprised that you weren't really prepared at all for this crisis, and that you have been shopping but not really like mentally prepare yourself. And you were saying that you are feeling like heartbroken also because you've lost your dad really recently, and your mom and your brother live so far away, and now you're actually like thinking whether you're going to see them again or not. And that is like it brings up a lot of sorrow and concern. And I also heard you say that you're angry actually because the environments have been like trying to.
Oh, seems like your video connection is. Elena, are you there?
I think Elena dropped out.
Okay.
Can't hear her.
Oh, there she just came back. Let me bring her back into the room. Hopefully. So I saw that she had, she just dropped out, and hopefully, are you back?
Hi. Yeah, I am. Thanks for getting me.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens. happened. I think the internet connections are somehow like really strange right now. I'm sorry for the interruption, Sarah.
Not a problem. It's fine. I'm so glad to talk with you.
Me too.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, I have to say that working on the environmental issue that I did, my thoughts were consumed with that, and never in a million years dreamt that or anticipated that there would be a coronavirus situation. We knew that there was a lot of untested things, and we were screaming at public officials not to not to have untested products out in the consumer. And it was known that these lower immunity, that pollution, air pollution and toxic products lower immunity. And it's known where people can't rebound. And I just got an email from a colleague, from a scientist who I know personally, who actually talked about that. Like, the air pollution was the worst in China. She was there as a visiting professor. People can't rebound. So it increases viral replication. Knowing what I know, I just brought me to my knees, really, because people just, honest to God, we're not taking any of this seriously at all, if they weren't personally impacted.
Yeah. So what I hear is that you're actually devastated because of the knowledge you have now of these like environmental issues that actually like lower the immunity. For example, air pollution. And you were saying that like working in the field you are, and you got this email just now from a scientist friend who was saying that one of the reasons why the coronavirus hit China so horribly is that there is such air pollution there.
That was one reason. There were some other toxins there.
Yeah.
That I'm not going to go into. I mean, at this point, and I knew I also honestly just wasn't. I felt uneasy but I didn't expect it to play out with the coronavirus. I mean, I knew honestly that something was going to happen, because you can't just have, you can't just go on this trajectory. And then I realized that every issue and every problem is coming that was unresolved is coming to the fore. Like we have a homeless problem in the Bay Area. I'm in Bay Area, California. Nobody was looking at this, and now they're having to trying to fast track, put homeless population in hotels, and this has been an issue. To have homeless not have a place to live, but they're doing that because Santa Clara County, which is 2 towns from me, which is Silicon Valley, and I knew absolutely it would be Silicon Valley that would be hit the hardest. The homeless person died of coronavirus in Santa Clara. They have the most cases, I think, in California, is in Santa Clara.
You might want to pause there, Sarah. It's also the 5 minutes. Get a reflection, final reflection, and we'll come around again. We'll keep going around.
Thank you.
Okay, so what I heard you say is that you were really surprised to see that it's the coronavirus that is creating this crisis now, and that you're feeling like this anxiety and worry for that this problem is like, or this crisis is bringing up all of these other problems as well. And you were saying that for example, the homelessness issue is one of the problems that is like that is becoming worse because of this crisis. Is that correct?
I think the homeless issue has remained unaddressed. Wasn't remained unaddressed. They just let it be, and it was getting worse and worse with tent cities popping up everywhere. And only because of the coronavirus are public officials finally taking action. Only because on multiple levels. And that's what I'm noticing.
Yeah. Okay. So you're noticing that the homeless issue is only taken into, like, the action is taken only because of the coronavirus.
They finally they're trying to secure 900 hotels.
So Sarah, sorry, I don't want to,
I'll let you go.
It'll come around. Yeah, it'll keep, it'll come around again. You'll have more time. So.
Yeah, sorry, Sarah. I held up the phone, but neither of I'm not sure if you can see us. You can see us, can you?
No.
Okay.
Now I can. Yeah. Now I can.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry for that.
No, sorry for my part. Actually, Andrea, could you listen to me?
Yes, sure, Elena. I'm listening.
Okay.
Jorn
and
has
Jörn
the time.
Jörn has the time, I think. So I can put on the video as well, and I hope my connection is okay. So maybe I want to talk a little bit about this, like, the peculiarity of the situation here, because I feel like I'm in a cabin. It's a really nice cabin. It was built by my grandparents, and it's by a lake, so it's a really beautiful spot. But it's really strange because there's, like, for example, no running water here. And I live in Helsinki, like downtown Helsinki, normally with my kids. So this is like a little bit extraordinary to be here.
So you're inviting us in on the strangeness of your situation, really, and how it contrasts your usual life. And I hear you saying it maybe nearly contributes to the strangeness of the whole situation. to all of a sudden find you in a lonely little house in a wonderful surroundings, but without tap water. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny in the sense that I have two kids, and the older one has been really worried because obviously we had to tell them that I'm in the higher risk category, and to make them like wash hands more and stuff like that. Like before they closed schools, but now that the schools are closed, we were able to leave the city and come here, and now the kids are actually like less stressed because they don't have to think about like the contamination or like washing hands or anything like that. So it's really nice in that sense, but then there is like this really, really strange feel to the fact that this is not our normal life. We don't like yeah, as I said, it's very different.
So I hear you say that there's really two aspects again to the situation, because you have children, and the elder of your children got really concerned hearing that you are at a higher risk with that virus, and they needed to just keep more of a hygiene protocol. And that was before they left school, because the school's closed. And now in that sense it's more relaxed with them because they don't have to worry that much. But still, it's not the life you know. Neither you nor they. Would that be correct?
Yeah, there's like this, it's like a paradox really, that they declare a state of emergency, and that's when we go to the countryside and get relaxed. So that.
Yeah, so it really feels like a paradox to be on holidays while there's an emergency.
Yeah, definitely. And but it's really cool to be able to use this amazing tech to organize sharing circles and have meetings and all of that. So in a way, I feel really lucky to have this cabin and to, yeah. And I also I have to say that I feel really lucky about the fact that the virus doesn't seem to be very dangerous to kids.
So now I hear you expressing your gratitude and about a couple of things, actually, about the technical possibilities that we have and that allow you to connect even from that remote place that you are in. And also that the virus doesn't seem to be as dangerous for children, and that seems to feel like a blessing to you.
It does, really.
Sorry.
That's fine. Is it the 5 minutes then? Yeah, okay. Thank you. I feel heard.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Alison, can I speak to you, please?
Yes. Sorry, I unmuted myself and then accidentally
yeah.
Listen to you, Andrea.
Yeah, I'm just noticing that I have calmed down a lot since I've joined, and I'm glad I joined. Yeah, so that shows me that I shouldn't go with my hunch sometimes.
So even had some hesitation about joining this call initially, you now are feeling glad that you did, as you notice that your body is experiencing some relief, some of ease.
Yeah, and some gratitude also for just hearing the sharing, and yeah. And I was actually when Elisa spoke about, or Elena, sorry, spoke about the way she experiences her XR group, stayed with, my mind stayed with that a little bit, or I really listened up, because I have a very difficult experience, or a different experience of my local group. I actually stay away from meetings. I even stayed away from the online meeting tonight, and I find it heartbreaking. Yeah.
So when you were hearing Elena talk about the support of her XR group and that was positive, for you that highlighted a contrast with your own experience, which for whatever reason has been negative, and so you notice that you feel sad about the distance that you've put between yourself and the group.
Yeah. Yeah, I also watched, yeah, I think I was touched also by that. I watched the recording of the first empathy circle with the Bay, San Francisco Bay chapter, or whatever. And yeah, and I wonder why it just makes me sad, and I wonder what of this has to do with me. And but I find it really hard to connect to the spirit of the XR group here, which is very much around taking action, planning action, not so much around the things that seem most important to me right now.
Okay, so I think I'm hearing that you notice reflective listening and empathy and mutual support happening in other XR groups, and that you feel sad because you see the potential for your group to be similar, and that has not been your experience in your group, which has been very action oriented, and so you're mourning maybe the loss of what that group could have been. Is that close to what you're saying?
I'm not ready to mourn the loss yet, I don't think.
Okay.
But I feel like I would have to step up to actually introducing it, and I don't feel I'm able. I don't feel I can, and maybe it's a combination of a couple of things, but maybe for reasons within myself, and also for reasons that I think I see outside myself or in those people, I don't see the local community that I wish there was.
Okay. So you wish that your local XR group could be the kind of community that you see elsewhere, and you yourself don't feel personally able to bring about those changes, and you feel sad.
Yeah, I don't feel able, and yet I feel like I would have to step up to doing that if I wanted. So maybe it's also about leadership, and
So you're not expecting any change to come about unless you yourself bring it forward, and you're also recognizing limitations both in yourself and in the group that would prevent that.
Yeah, I feel fully heard.
Okay, Edwin, you haven't had a turn to be the speaker for quite a while.
You're choosing me?
Listen to me, and then you'll have a chance to speak.
Yeah, thanks. So you're wanting to choose me because you notice I haven't spoken for a while.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
My sense of equity maybe is triggered.
Yeah. So you're really seeing that for equity, that's why you're choosing me. Inclusion maybe too, since the conclusion.
So I'm feeling grateful that at the moment my children seem to be happily occupied so that I can give more of my attention to this group. It's an ongoing challenge that I'm having, that when I am fully present only to them, I can support them adequately, but when there are other needs that I have or that others have of me, it's challenging to balance those multiple roles simultaneously.
So you're grateful to have some space now to sort of focus on this, and it's a challenge when you can, between focusing on them and on other things that you're wanting to do. And
I'm feeling grateful that we are not removed from our daily life. So we didn't retreat to a summer cabin, as Elena described herself doing, because we already live in a very remote place. In fact, I might be able to turn the camera. Well, no, you probably have too much glare to see. Can you see the?
Yeah, we see it, the hills,
So we already live kind of on a hilltop in a rural area in our state, and we already have quite a bit of social distance. It's inconvenient in daily life to live a long way from civilization. We're half hour from a library, half hour from a post office, half hour's drive from a grocery store. But the good news is that sheltering in place for us means we're already in a place that is distant and therefore protected.
So you're in a place that's remote, already remote, that you live on a regular basis, and I guess there's an advantage there that you feel safe and protected there.
Yes, and I'm also feeling, because we live a long distance from places we need to access, I have felt since moving here, which about 2 years ago, some tension and maybe even guilt about how much I drive, because I'm very aware of climate change and of fossil fuel consumption and the exhaust of our cars contributing to air pollution and a whole host of things that make me want to drive less. And yet here we are living in a place where nothing is within walking distance, really. So I'm ending up driving more because of where I live, and it's ironic. It's a paradox that on the one hand, we live surrounded by nature, we live in a forest, we live closer, therefore, to the earth and its natural rhythms in some ways, and yet our lifestyle can actually create more damage to the earth than it did when we lived in the city.
So you're seeing some irony in that you're in a beautiful place, you're close to nature, but all the driving is perhaps causes damage to the environment, and so to see the irony of it, and also the different from when you were in the middle of the city.
And so the need to stay home in order to prevent the spread of this virus is actually helping me live closer to my own ideals, or to have more integrity. I think my own personal experience maybe mirrors what the global opportunity is right now, because the world has been able to make a really radical and dramatic and painful change to our daily lifestyle. I feel tears coming in my eyes, because I wish that we could have done this in a more thoughtful, maybe less sudden, kind of more of a planned approach to climate change. We could have made these changes gradually and helped each other adjust to them. And now instead, they're suddenly forced on us, but we are showing what we are capable of. We can respond to a crisis with, a level of inconvenience that 3 months ago, people would have told you they weren't willing to accept.
So, yeah, so you have some sadness that maybe society hasn't made the changes that it could have, because people said, "Oh, we can't make these changes," and now we're sort of forced to make those changes, and just seeing sadness that wasn't done before.
Yes. Yeah, I see that my time is up, and I thank you, Edwin, for hearing.
Okay. All right, thanks. Jorn, I can speak to you. Let's see. What comes up for me is sort of what to do going forward. we set up this empathy cafe. This is the first one on this topic. So for me, I'm trying to get a sense of what to do that's sort of constructive going forward with these empathy cafes. You know, do we hold more? Do we hold them on a regular basis? How beneficial are they? You know, what topics? So my mind goes into all this sort of organizational, questions.
What I'm hearing is that you have some questions around how to proceed to most and best contribute to what is needed right now.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly it. Yeah, it's like what is the need that people have, and with empathic listening, you know, how can this sort of support people? And so I guess I'm kind of looking, you know, what are people, you know, saying about it? What is their needs around this?
So what I first heard was more like on a technical organizational level, and now you're looking at the underlying needs. What would support people best, and how could you facilitate and help people get what they need right now?
Yeah, and there was another thing that comes up with what Andrea was saying about in XR, there's sort of a community of very action-oriented, you know, we're going to do them, you know, actions. And then there's another area of people wanting more of a regenerative, you know, empathic community building aspect. And those two seem to sort of be in a bit of a conflict. And I keep seeing that. I think that's what Andrea is saying, that, you know, she would like more of the empathic space. And it's hard to bring that into that very energetic, you know, forward-driven, you know, energy.
So you're referring to Andrea, and you have made similar experiences or observations that there is a kind of separation between two main focus points within groups, one being like action oriented and one being more on a attitude and how do we live together before doing action. And yeah, that seems to be something you're wondering also, how you can help.
Well, I
maybe
just see
integration.
I see. Yeah, integration is a good word for it. It's like I see those energies in the Empathy Cafe that Andrea mentioned, our local group, that came up. Someone who's a longtime activist, she was in tears because of the difficulty of bringing sort of an empathic energy into her activist community. And so I think maybe I don't know if that was what she was mentioning, but that was another example of that dynamic.
So you're giving an example of something which you observed and interpreted as being a similar case, where one person in your community or community you are feeling close to also had the experience that it's hard for her to bring that regenerative side into that action-oriented group.
And yesterday I did a mediation with XR Santa Cruz, and it was the exact dynamic, the very focused, you know, action-oriented, and people who feel like they're not heard, they're not included, there's not a community sort of an aspect. So again, I keep seeing that underlying, you know, energy. And yes, yeah, and I think you really hit it with, like, is there a merging of the two, right? Can you be energetic about creating community and empathic space? So that could be, yeah.
Yeah, and while you talk about it and reflect on the topic, there's more examples of the same thing coming to you, and it's becoming more and more obvious that seems to be a general pattern of energetic separation and then conflicts emerging regarding like who has the better approach, and you really long to have an integration of the two energies as we move forward in XR.
Yeah, and if you try to bring in this empathic energy, there's a lot of resistance to it. Okay, yeah, so I'll just end with that then. There's a lot, it's mixed. There's a big resistance, but we're slowly making headway, yeah.
So you're experiencing that when you bring in more the empathic side of the focus of the energy, that there's maybe from certain groups or individuals a strong resistance, but you're also noticing a slow evolution in that respect.
I feel heard. Thank you.
I'd like to talk to Sarah again. That was so pleasant and helpful.
Hi, this is Sarah.
Hi. And you haven't spoken for some time.
So do you share?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got that smile on my face and some tingling aliveness, vibrant energy in my body. And I'm enjoying this, and I'm only observing it for now.
I really hear you connecting to your senses and to your body. And when you share about the tingling, I'm just feeling that there is an integration in process. So this is what I'm wondering about.
Yeah. And there's two things that really pop up in my mind right now. Is that one is a celebration that like I'm not alone in trying to bring that integration into XR and the world. Really, it's not only XR that needs it. It's that separation is, in my understanding, at the core of all the problems we are having. So I'm celebrating when there is now, it was Edwin like referring to integration having a resonance. So that really brings me joy and hope.
What I'm really hearing from you as a sense of not being alone, what I'm hearing is a sense of the celebration of the interconnectedness of all people sharing, working on these issues, and solidarity. I'm wondering.
Well, I'll say the other part, and then we'll see where this goes. And there's also something I'm noticing is that I have an idea, and of course this is only interpretation of mine, that when I'm listening to you, I'm listening to people that have a tendency to think empathy and how we are with each other is just this tiny little bit more important than the action focus. So what's really important to me is to stress that point, that it's about integration. It's not about, okay, now we've been doing action in XR for so long, now let's try something different. And the different is now we do regenerative culture and we tell and you were wrong and now we are right. And so that's, oh yeah, and I can feel a tension in my stomach when I say that.
Is it okay for me to jump in?
Yeah, sure. I'm pausing for you too.
Wow. So I'm hearing you share about your experiences in XR, about the need for empathy, but also the need for a call to action. And also for regenerative building, and that all these things are equal of importance. And when you share about the tension in your stomach, I am wondering what that is about.
Yeah, me too. But I've learned to not go so fast, and I want to stay with that sensation for a while and see what emerges. And yeah.
So I'm hearing you're wanting to stay with the feelings that you're having right now. And I definitely heard the word integration and staying with your feeling and not going so fast.
Thanks, Sarah. I'm good for now. Look at that.
Thank you so very much for sharing. Okay, do I choose somebody?
Yes.
Can I choose, let's see, can I choose someone new? Let's see. Andrea. Andrea?
Yes, Sarah, I'm listening.
Hello.
You taking the time, Jan?
Thank
That's
you.
good.
It's time it, so I'll be more mindful next time. Wow. Yeah, I haven't, obviously, I haven't processed my feelings with this crisis, let alone all the societal impacts, let alone all my personal issues. I've heard so much, so many people share about not to give in to the fear or the catastrophic thinking and to embrace love and that there's hope. And given that I have people forwarding me notes from epidemiology, I'm not going to pronounce this right, from like UCSF, it's a medical center, that seem very not so positive.
Can I just, I'm having a bit of a, can I just pause you there and start reflecting?
Please.
Yeah, I'm trying hard to understand it all, but you might have to correct me.
Yes.
So what I hear you sharing is that you get the impression that you haven't processed a lot of your, you're only starting to process the emotions around the pandemic and all that is happening right now, and that you are under the impression of, people, all the proposals that come from the outside to go for fear, not love, like nearly like affirmations. Yeah, did I hear that just about correct?
I think so. I think personally, I'm trying to be realistic, but I'm noticing that I'm defaulting to worst case scenarios, given the information I'm getting. I'm not, I mean, whereas other people are much more like, hey, no worries, this will pass, or they're very reassuring. But I've seen, I tend to lean the other way. And I'm also concerned, like a friend said, hey, the big 5 sports goods stores, they sold out all on guns. We hope, we're concerned about that. So my friend said he's concerned about societal repercussions, less about the virus, more about way people are responding to the virus through like that situations like buying up all the guns.
So while you're getting all that affirmative input from the outside, you find yourself leaning more towards the realistic, or maybe, and also a very sober stance when you take in the information and process it about how bad things could get.
Yeah,
and that includes societal implications, since there's a lot of gun buying right now where you live.
Yeah, but I'm seeing the need for myself personally to rise above all of this, because obviously society has needed a huge overhaul. And some people say this is nature's way of doing a reset, a giant big reset, because we haven't been willing to face all these environmental health issues, and it's been business as usual. And I've gotten also emails that people say this is temporary in uppercase letters. This is temporary. My brain goes to like, maybe this isn't temporary. I need to rise above.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm really not sure, but what I hear you say is that there is also that idea, or that this is really nature kind of showing us how we haven't been going about things the right way. And also when you hear people say this shall pass and it's temporary, you kind of know that it's not going to be temporary.
I would say I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope.
Okay.
I hope this is that. In the past, I've worked so hard on some issue, and then at the 11th hour, things had a way of resolving themselves in an unanticipated way, and I'm trying to keep my focus on that.
Okay, yeah, and this is our time also, because I can see you, and I hear you saying that actually you don't know that this is not temporary, and there is a kind of hope that you also draw from your past experiences when things looked quite dark, and then there was a resolution. So you want to, I hear you saying you want to keep that window open, that things can go unexpected ways.
Yes, hope and redemption. Going and this is like the dark night of the soul collectively, and hoping there's always a way through.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you so much for hearing me. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Okay, now I'm a little trying to track back. Yeah, I actually would like to talk to you, Edwin, if I may.
Okay, listening.
Yeah, there's a lot of intensity. There was very intense listening going on, and also some of the, I think one of my fears actually is, like, there's so much talk about propping up businesses and salvation of this and pumping money into businesses to be able to pick up and produce more useless goods, like after whatever this is going to be. And that really makes me so wobbly. That really makes me shaky, because I don't want that. I don't want that. I want us to speak about basic universal income at this point, and not waste, money and energy into, for propping up stuff that brought us here. And at the same time, I think, the people are not ready for that. That's all they're thinking about. That's all they're talking about. I think that's part of my shakiness right now.
You're feeling a quality of shakiness because the government, people are talking about doing, sort of propping up the existing system, the small businesses or businesses, instead of sort of making a shift, using this time for a shift towards something like universal basic income and maybe other things too.
Yeah. Yeah. And it ties in with that. I think I sometimes, in times of stress, I go to a sense of over-responsibility and beating myself up for still not having figured out how to you know, how to reach out. And then I listen to that call, like with the Bay Area people, and I have a clear sense of, yeah, this is how, and we had a small group around dynamic facilitation, you know, a couple of weeks back before the whole shutdown happened. And then I have some clarity and I have some courage, and then I just collapse back into, because there's that, like Jörn said, that old mode running me, you know, that old thing of smallness yeah. And I realized that it is actually all about, I mean, I think my system is only learning about support. It's something that I pull back from, actually. Yeah, and it brings up a lot of pain to just realize all those things in a visceral way. Like, it's not that I didn't know them, but it seems like it comes up very viscerally these days.
There's a lot of pain coming up. Just like you have the sort of the anxiety, sort of a level of anxiety and a feeling of anxiety, and trying to kind of create wanting more support, and then kind of going back into the anxiety. I'm quite getting that those feelings dynamics.
Yeah, it always seems like the systemic, or what is happening out on the big scale, where I'm so convinced that this would be the way to go. You know, have citizens' assemblies all online, all over the place, and educate people around the possibility of you know, just unleashing or unhooking this whole economy thing from people being able to live and having you know, just the basics of their life, because I think that's the only way how we can stop that crazy engine. And I see it mirrored in myself, you know, that urgency, and that can't you see, and then see how I oscillate between clarity and wanting to bring something forward, and then I collapse into my old, just my old patterns. Yeah.
So you sounds like you get clarity about sort of a new way to go, a new direction, maybe a new energy, but then you fall back into like your existing patterns and yeah, is that?
Yeah. I feel hurt for now.
Okay. Okay, then let's see, we have 15 minutes. Maybe we'll head back to the full group now. We got about 14 minutes. So I'm going to be closing the room. So thanks everyone for having taken part in this circle. Really enjoyed it and hearing everyone.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
So you should see there in 60 seconds. We go back automatically. You can click on the button to return to the main session. Okay, they're probably finishing up their comments. I think there's one more group. Oh, there's room 4 still needs to close. 13 seconds. And that should be everyone. Okay, welcome back. Hope you had a good empathy circle, and some good connecting. And what we want to do now is just go around the room here and just hear from everyone. take a minute or so to just report back, just any kind of highlights, anything you'd like to share. I'd love to hear if you would like to have more of these circles too. Any ideas for kind of going forward with holding more of these? Because we can hold a series if there's interest. Perhaps Bill, would you be willing to just go around and choose people to speak?
Sure. I'll just go around my screen here, and I believe Jorn. You're muted.
Yeah. It was my first empathy circle. I do a lot of empathy work, but not in that format, and I enjoyed it very much. And I'd like to do more. And I'm wanting to bring this and other formats out there. I think that's the best we can do right now in XR. Yeah, and I have a sense of calm and feel better reconnected with my body, and that's very joyful. And I'll ask Alison. Oh, is it up to me?
Oh, Bill is choosing just for speed, so it's no problem.
No problem. Yeah. Okay. And look at you must be psychic there, Jorn. Alison, you're next on my screen.
Like Jörn, I really enjoyed the small group empathy circle as a chance to explore my own feelings and connect to others and to watch empathy or active listening being modeled. And to Edwin's question, I would love to see more empathy circles specifically around this topic. Because so many people are self-isolating, I think using online platforms super important, and people need ways to connect, to get in touch with their own feelings and to process those with empathetic others. And I hope that our experiences of empathy will also fuel our action in the world. Thank you.
Sure. Andrea?
Yeah, I enjoyed tonight's circle. I wasn't sure if I was going to come, didn't, so it was counterintuitive, but it was a good idea to come. And yeah, likewise, I mean, I would definitely try and join more circles, and like I think many of us are right now trying to also put it out, like I'd love to have it more locally too. Yeah, thank you.
Great. Richard?
Yeah, I would definitely like to see more of these empathy circles. And also what I see is that this is the opportunity to also get more people in who are not necessarily activists. And if I think this is a nice way to also people who don't consider themselves activists, that it's nice to get them in. And in a way, also there is no, in a way it feels there are no sides or so. This is kind of what I find interesting, that there is this kind of, we are humanity together. And how do we get through this? And that I find it interesting to yeah, that's kind of hope.
Okay. James?
I'm going to pass. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Carolina?
I like very much the idea of inviting non-activists, and I actually think that every activist could invite somebody who is not activist to the circle. That would be nice. That would be spreading beyond the movement, the idea. I like it. Thank you for this proposition. And we had today this situation when one person asked question non-directly. to the other person, but not directly speaking to the third person. And the person that was asked about something doesn't have to respond to that. It creates kind of space for choice, for our own will, our own intentions, our own need to fulfill. If we don't want to answer, we don't have to answer the question. I love this feature of empathy circle because it creates the space for mutual respect. Thank you for this circle.
Great. Okay, Kevin.
Today was really, really good. It was great. I was really, really happy to have Andrew with us for the short period of time that he was. And that is primarily because Andrew and I both are working together on bringing XR and the Indigenous community together to help each other grow significantly around the world. So I thought today was really, really great. I hope that we can have more of these. Edwin, I'd partake in them all, and maybe we can have a subject line that is more on how to unite the displaced, if you will. So thank you.
Okay, Marta.
Yeah, it's very nice today. Yeah, I was very happy to be sharing and to hear Ben had to leave, but he was also saying, let's have these every day, and we can do it, and Edwin's been doing it all along, and we can help, and we all have the skills anyway, and there's a lot of that sort of conversation happening. And we spoke of savior complex a bit, and a bit about how it takes a bit of courage to ask for help as well.
Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong, Aoife?
Yeah, you're right. Thanks. Yeah, I really enjoyed the conversation that we had today. And I guess a couple of the things that came up kind of over and over again were ideas about what it means to be kind of connected to other people, and how, I guess, in light of what's happening at the moment, that feels important, but not necessarily intuitive. And yeah, kind of speaking a little bit on that and about kind of what it means to be vulnerable and how to practice that more authentically, and how maybe that is something that will kind of help that proliferate. So yeah, I suppose towards the end of the conversation, I reflected that it was bringing up stuff for me that I felt probably will go beyond this call. So yeah, it was really interesting conversation. Thanks very much to everybody.
Great. And I see before you leave, Sophia.
Yeah, it was lovely being here again. I enjoyed our conversations. There were some pretty good insights in our group. And yeah, I like the idea of having empathy circles around this topic. And I also think that it should be more than once a week, at least in the beginning. I'm not able to host the circles, but I'm happy to sort of like spread them and get people in there. I do as much as I can. Yeah, and one thing that I found interesting is that all of us found it hard to ask for help. It seemed to be a thing that we all suffer from. Yeah, and just being in these circles is kind of like practicing that, asking for help, because we're actually wanting people to listen to us. So yeah, great being here again.
Thank you, Sophia. Julie?
Hiya. Well, this was my first circle, and I want to show my appreciation to Bill for hosting it. I'm unsure what to say, to be honest. Nothing's coming to mind, but I just wanted to show my appreciation to everyone who's participated, and to yourself for holding the circle. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Deirdre.
Thanks. Hi. Yeah, I was in the circle with Marta and Sophia and Aoife and Ben, and the insights were really lovely, and we talked a lot about a savior complex, and I realized that, so I'm really interested in hosting, learning how to facilitate empathy circles in especially for my community here in this time. But then I also realized that one of the reasons I really want to do that is because I think of myself as a savior, you know. I absolutely have to be one of the people who's making everything better and everybody feel okay. And so yeah, so I think I need to sit with that for a while. I have some questions that I want to put out to our community here and host a discussion around them. And one of them is, how can we make it easier for people to ask for help? And how can we make it that everybody has all of their basic needs covered no matter what, like food and home and connection? And how can we make it that everybody feels valued and needed? And then I realized it's actually that I really want those things for myself, and I need somebody else to model how we ask for help. So yeah, lovely insights. So thank you.
Thank you. Alina?
Yeah, well, thank you everyone for this opportunity. I really enjoyed tonight's Empathy Cafe, or it's morning for some of you, but yeah, I'm really interested in hosting empathy cafes in Finland, and I've been in touch with Edwin about that, and because I also think that it's really important to be able to talk about these issues in your native language. So that's why. And yeah, I had like really good insights tonight. I feel that it would be really good if we if these empathy cafes on this topic, because it's such a dynamic situation, would like continue on like maybe weekly basis. I don't know, but definitely I find it like beneficial. And yeah, I really want to thank you for your work, Edwin. I think it's amazing. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Alina. Andrea?
I already spoke.
Oh, I'm sorry, my screen, okay. Sorry if I do that. Sarah?
It's probably me or Jill. Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jeff.
It's not right? Then I log off.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I say a quick goodbye. It's great, and I think it's very important to have an international kind of creating a feeling of internationality, of working in a kind of global consciousness in a way to come together, and that's a good thing here. Yeah, good platform.
Great. And Sarah, can you hear us? You're muted now.
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you so
Great.
much.
Okay.
I'm so absolutely grateful to hear from people around the world about their core feelings, their insights, and my takeaway was that we have so much in common, and about our concern for an evolving situation that we've never experienced in our entire lifetime. And I think this is so essential to have our spirits uplifted by not feeling alone and in isolation. I do feel that these empathy circles should continue more than once a week. I think it's important, especially for the I'm in shelter in place, so we're not even supposed to leave our homes here in the SF Bay Area. So this is really not something we're used to. We're used to a lot more community. So I'm hoping these will continue.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. And Leona.
Yeah, very grateful to join as an international community and hoping to add empathy circles to the mix here in Australia, in our Australia, New Zealand, Australasia, Oceania time zone. And the question for me is, I can reach out into my XR community, but how to get these more available beyond my little social network is something I'm curious about. So, but thank you all.
Okay. And have I missed any? I think it's me and then Edwin. So have I missed anybody who wants to speak? No. Okay. I am really appreciative, as I am each time I do this, people, coming forward and sharing their authentic selves. And it always touches me. It always gives me hope. And I really think that working together, we can do some great things. Thanks. Edwin, I'll give it back to you.
Thanks, Bill. I always enjoy the connection and the hearing everyone, what everyone has to say. Always enriches my life. Going forward, our schedule is, let's see, this Friday we have our XR Empathy Cafe on conflict within XR, so you can see the schedule for that. And then after that, on Friday, we have the facilitators support group. So if you're wanting to facilitate empathy circles, you can join us and kind of get some tips on how to do that. And next Wednesday at this same time, we're doing the question is, how do we spread the empathy circle practice? So within XR, so kind of specific ideas, maybe steps that we can take on how to do that. And we'll be talking with our group about extending this topic. Maybe we can do a series of these. We could get different cafe facilitators, and so we'll start talking about how to go forward with this. You can contact me, just send me an email or message me if you're wanting to be a facilitator, be sort of part of that group to sort of expand on this topic. And yeah, I think that's it, kind of it. That's about going over a little bit of our time. Maybe even make that next time I think maybe even add half an hour to the links so that people have more time to share. So any other thoughts, Martha, Carolina, or Bill? Anything that we forgot to mention?
No, just I want to acknowledge that there seems to be a growing need for these and a real interest in it. And so we hope we can accommodate that.
Okay, Martha?
And I just want to say that Sarah, had in the chat there that it'd be extremely helpful to have another empathy cafe on this specific issue. And yeah, just to say that anyone that wants, that it'd be great to make that happen, and I'm sure we will. And it's also, organizing facilitators, so and making sure that we have enough of us to go around and to hold the space. This was getting in touch with Edwin.
Yeah.
And then there's, yeah, the facilitator support group tomorrow as well, which is a great time to talk about these, how to promote these outside of the empathy circle format as well.
Yeah, and we could hold one every day if we have the facilitators. You know, we've got the room. We could, if we can get enough facilitators, and we can, you know, teach you how to do it. It doesn't take a lot. There's a lot of training videos, material, as well as actually everyone here. Now that you've seen the process with just a handout, there's a handout, and you know, just the sort of basics. You can really start. Just bring a few friends together. Hold your own empathy circle, and then expand it into an empathy cafe. And we're here to support you in doing that. So with that, I want to thank everyone and kind of give you a wavy hands. Goodbye until next time. Look forward
Bye-bye.
to seeing you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
You.
Much love. Stay safe.
Have a
And
good day.
see you with Australian team tomorrow, or actually for Australian team is
Yes.
today evening.
See you then.
See you.
See you, Caro.
Bye.
Carolina, I'd like to join that one. The Australia one. Would that be okay?
I'm afraid it's kind of a planned, organized internal meeting they
Okay.
wanted to organize, so
No
it
problem.
might be difficult for the group.
No problem. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye,
Kevin.
Bye, Kevin. Kevin, see you again.
Bye, Kevin.
Kevin.